thank you for being here and talking to us. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Lourdes Gant, and it's my fourth year being in the PWN Barcelona Mentoring group. I found this group when I was visiting Barcelona in 2017, actually, and was in I think you guys have the International Day in October. And I saw the booth of the PWN Barcelona and got my business card in a bowl, and I was picked to win a 1-year membership. So I'm in Canada, but it's so cool to be able to have my network in Europe through Barcelona, and it started from there. I have a family business with my husband and business partner. It's shellfish aquaculture here in Canada, and I'm also into personal development. So I'm also a partner with the Genius U Group.
What are the main challenges in a mentoring relationship according to your experiences?
There's not much. I think the team has really a good way of matching, in my case anyway. So the only challenge that I saw would probably be scheduling. Everybody is busy, and so sometimes it's quite a challenge to sync both the schedules, especially in the different time zone. But other than that, all my mentees has been rock stars.
Yeah, and what were the most important problems with what they turn to you?
Most would be along the lines of that self-worth and confidence. So that's the underlying around any problem, is that there's not belief in deservability in terms of fear of either failure or success. So, but that boils down to self-worth. And then we just talk about that for the first 3 months and see if they're able to get over that hump. So when I say self-worth, it's along the lines of everybody's busy. Can they take time off for themselves, self-care, because they need to prioritize themselves. And that's hard to do, especially if you're always on the go. And I'm speaking for myself here as well. It took me a while to be able to actually have that mindset that I should also be a priority.
Yeah, and what do you do for self-care? What are the most important practices you have?
So the first thing that I always tell them to do is also a practice that I do myself, is to take 24 hours all for themselves. No phone, no family, have a break for 24 hours. And that's kind of rejuvenation time once a month. And so all kinds of excuses will come up before that date. And if you don't pencil it in, sooner or later they will say, oh, I only did 4 hours, or I can't because there's somebody taking care of my kid and what have you. So a lot of things will pop up. And so it's a challenge to be able to really schedule that in, that can make it happen. And I know it's different last year and this year because of COVID. But there are creative ways on how to be able to take time for oneself if you really make it as a priority.
And what else do you do, for example, on a daily basis for yourself?
Outdoor walks, if they can, even just for 20 minutes. Have some quiet time. I don't know if you're a morning person or a night person, but I'm a morning person. So today I actually woke up late, so I wasn't able to do my yoga. So, but as much as you can, get back to it the next day when you can. Have some, prioritizing me time again in that early start of the day, or if you're a night person, plan before you go to bed. Just some downtime.
Yeah. And what was your biggest success as a mentor? Do you remember any stories that you would like to share with us?
Lots of success stories, I guess. My first mentee, the first year, doubled her revenue. Was able to consistently take some night outs during our time together. And I just wanted to share as well, I think it's also powerful if the mentors can continue the relationship in 2 years, because they can see the progress of the mentee. So I try to do that with most of my mentees.
Were there any bad experiences or failures in your mentoring relationships?
I wouldn't say it's a failure. I guess it's a learning experience. One of my mentees doesn't reply to me anymore. I tried to send her an email, a text, and a call, and I'm not hearing back. But I know she's very still active in the team, so I don't know where I dropped the ball, or maybe she's just too busy, or maybe I did something that turned her off. But I haven't heard from her.
Oh, that's sad.
It
And,
is kind of sad.
yeah, because you just guess, you never know what the real reason is, and it's
Yeah.
so difficult. You're making stories, probably why she disappeared, or
But now that I think about it, maybe I'll drop her a voice message today.
yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And have you ever had a mentor yourself?
Yes, I do have lots of mentors. I've been huge in terms of being led by the hand, somebody who has experience to get my learning curve faster. So ever since I'm in university, my very first mentor is actually my cost accounting professor. And
Uh,
then it just go from there.
what are the biggest challenges for you as a mentee now? What are you working on?
Right now we're taking our company to the next level, and interestingly, it's the same challenge. Being a mentor or a mentee is the taking the time to slow down, because we tend to use busyness to be able to complete the task. But sometimes if you're all used up, then it's harder to slow down. So that's always had been a constant conversation with my mentor and I. I'm like, I have all these projects on the go. Okay, which one of them I can get off my list, because it may not be priority, or it may not be getting the results I wanted. So it's the same challenge of, okay, taking time to evaluate what matters.
How has COVID affected you?
The good part about COVID, though, is I think everybody gets to reevaluate how to start from scratch. I'm an immigrant from the Philippines to Canada, and so we had a word that we use every time you land in a new country. It's called tabula rasa, which means clean slate. So I think everybody had a chance when COVID hit to have a clean slate and reevaluate what they're doing. So that's the good part about it.
Yeah. Some of our mentees are, or most of our mentees are expats. They are in a new country. What would be your advice for people in that situation?
That's a great question. For me, when I first started in Canada, I think it's great to be able to network. So you right off the bat, you already have a great network in Barcelona, wherein you can build relationships with the people who you share the same interest with. So that's important for me, especially coming from the Philippines, where our culture is almost the same as the Spanish culture, where we're really huge in terms of socializing and building networks. The second thing would be to evaluate your skill set and don't downgrade it. Coming from the Philippines, most of my credentials were not recognized to the new country I came in. And so there's a tendency to hear people from other immigrants who came before you to tell you just accept any job, or, downgrade your I guess your credentials. And that was tough, because I just ignored them and actually started in the same profession that I had. So if you can build your confidence in really building up what your strengths are, instead of looking at strengthening your weaknesses, it'd be far easier if you just use your strengths and build from there in the new country.
Yeah. So you know that we are going to start the second round of this year's mentoring program, and there are a lot of people who are thinking about joining the program as mentors or mentees. What would be your advice to them?
No second thoughts. Definitely, it's a beneficial program, whatever state you're in, whether you're a starter, whether you have been there. It's always good. I remember watching, and I know probably a lot of people don't like the ex-president of the United States, but I remember watching one of his TV shows, The Apprentice, and there were two winners that are tied at the end of the show, and one of them is book smart and one of them is street smart. And um, the main guy on the show I would not mention names because I think everybody knows that show, has to deliberate which one has to win. And the final question in that TV show was, what would you think is the best route so that you can be chosen as winner in this show? And the person who won, they were both women actually, and the person who won actually said, if I have to start over again, instead of finding the mistakes just by myself, I will have people lead me by the hand so that I don't have to repeat the same mistakes that they did or I did. So there's that power of mentorship wherein learn from the mistakes of others instead of having to make them yourself. So that's, again, I use the word shortcut or leverage your network. If you can have a mentor, it's absolutely worth